Hey, hey you. Yeah, you. Maybe you're at the office feeling like your neck is already starting to get sore. Liar. You're working from home, hunched over a laptop at your dining room table while perched on a box. You need to fix that or it's going to hurt you. What kind of YouTube video has a fancy title slide? Well, the kind that originally was going to be a fancy PowerPoint presentation that I was going to get paid for. Well, so I don't get to go to a seminar, and I don't get a fancy sandwich held together with one of those tasseled toothpicks, but you do get to learn a few tricks to improve your workspace. No, it's fine. Ooh, it had a content slide too? I know. We should pause to admire it for a moment. Okay. Rather than forcing people to fit devices, it makes sense to fit spaces and devices to people. Makes sense, and that is what is meant by ergonomics. Fitting involves distributing the forces on the human body as broadly as possible and to give mechanical advantage to the working muscles whenever possible. A single example. If the mass of the head is centered over its base of support, neck muscles only need to work to prevent nodding. Weight is borne by the structure. However, the further the head is forward of its base, the muscles of the neck must work exponentially harder. And yes, I totally just read the whole slide for you and added nothing. I'm one of those. How do you know if your workstation is poorly designed ergonomically? Do you have pain or fatigue in the same place at the end of every day? Then, yeah. Also, if you're already modifying your workstation with redneck-looking repairs, then on some level you already know that you have a problem. No workstation, and certainly no chair can be perfect, so move. There's some good evidence that the frequency of breaks is a more important factor than the break duration, so get up and move. Often. It doesn't have to be long. A good approach is to start with your chair. No chair is perfect, but one with a certain amount of adjustability is required. Adjust your chair to fit you, then adapt the workspace to fit you in your chair. And don't forget to get out of your chair. Often. Yup, chair anatomy. Base. That's the wheelie part. 5 points is optimal. It gives room for your feet or footstool and is less prone to flipping when you push your chair back versus chairs with less than 5 points. The cylinder is the part that allows for height adjustment. We will cover chair height in a moment. Needless to say, your chair needs to be height adjustable. Your butt goes here. Hopefully it has some adjustability to it as well. The backrest probably does not need an introduction either. However, if you are shopping for chairs, besides adjusting the angle of recline, it is nice to have a backrest that can also be moved forward or back over the seat pan. As we will see, this is how the seat pan depth can be adjusted. The lumbar support, if your chair has one, is the outward curve on the backrest where your low back comes in contact with the chair. Clear on our chair anatomy? Okay, let's fit the chair to you. Step 1. Find your chair. Don't worry, we'll wait. Okay, adjust the height so the seat pan surface is just below your kneecap. Have a seat. The height will likely need to be refined a bit, but you're off to a great start. Check by looking at your feet. You know, those toesy things at the end of your legs. They should be resting flat on the floor. Now look at your knees. Those are the bendy parts in the middle of the leg. They should be resting at about 90 degrees of flexion. There should also be a bit of a gap between the back of your knee and the front edge of the seat pan. If the backs of your knees are making contact with the seat pan, the pan is too deep. Hopefully the backrest can be moved forward to effectively shorten the seat pan. Sometimes an aftermarket backrest can be added to fill the space between your back and the back of the chair to shorten the seat pan, but it's better if the chair has the adjustability to begin with. The seat pan ideally should have an adjustable tilt. There are advantages to level, forward, and backward tilt. Start with what is most comfortable. Keep in mind no single position is perfect and you will need to change position throughout the day. The backrest should mirror the normal inward and outward curves of the spine. Start with the backrest in its highest position and lower it until the lumbar support fits into the lowest inward curve on your back. Once there, try lowering the backrest another inch, maybe 2. The lumbar support is often best a little lower than most people believe it should be. It should rest at about belt level. A slight recline to the backrest is best. Slight. Obviously, if you feel like you're in the latest McLaren sports car, that's too far. Yeah, I know. You're kind of annoyed that armrests are optional. Remember, rests are not supports, so you should not be using them continually while actively working. They can also interfere with proper setup of your chair in front of your desk. Footrests. Footrests are only for when you need to be lifted to meet the workspace. This is because footrests tend to limit the number of positions that can be adopted while you're at your desk. If you need a footrest, it should allow the feet to rest flat on the surface and the thighs to be positioned parallel to the floor. This does not need to be difficult. The keyboard should be centered in front of you and the monitor. To fit your keyboard to your work position, sit up tall in your desk chair with your shoulders relaxed. Bend your elbows 90 degrees with your fingers relaxed. The resulting position of your fingertips is where your keyboard should be. It may require a keyboard tray that fits beneath the desk. Wrong. Bet you never thought about sizing a mouse. However, if it has occurred to you, it could be because you're already feeling the strain of an improperly sized input device. If your hand is anything but relaxed as you grasp the device, sizing needs to be a consideration. If you are actively folding the thumb and pinky side of your hand to grip the mouse, it's likely too small. If you're flaring your hand out, it could be overly large. It goes in front of you. You can use the space between the G and H keys to line up the keyboard and monitor. A slight tilt back of the screen is best if it won't result in a glare on the screen. The screen should be about an arm's length from you. Get into your work position and close your eyes. When you open your eyes, you should be looking at the first line of text on the screen, i.e. just below the toolbars. If you are working from a hard copy, you should be using a document holder. Keep the document holder as close to the screen as possible. Children tend to move a lot and are not recommended as document holders over the long term. Originally, many computers had keyboards, monitors, and input devices in the same housing. The result was that many people hunched down to see the monitor, or had to bring their arms up high in front of them to use the keyboard, or worse yet, both. Unfortunately, laptops have brought this posture back from the past. Set your laptop up in your home office as you would properly set up a monitor. Add an external full-size keyboard and mouse. Limited laptop ports may require hubs, splitters, or docking stations for convenience. It's not a big secret. Moderate indirect light is best. Glare is what happens when lighting goes wrong. Direct glare is when light shines directly into the eyes. It is uncomfortable and often forces us to adopt awkward postures to see properly. So change the orientation of your workstation. Diffuse the light through some curtains or a filter. You are not under interrogation in an old James Bond movie, so make some changes. Try out this test. Turn your monitor off. Can you see images in the darkened screen? If so, this is known as indirect glare. It makes viewing the screen more tiring as well as being a little distracting. The fixes for this are similar to those for direct glare. Contrast glare is an often overlooked problem. Contrast glare occurs when there is an excessive difference of light and dark elements within your visual field. With contradictory inputs of light and dark, your pupils are uncertain if they should dilate, for darkness, or constrict, for bright objects. As another test, place a paper border of neutral color, like from an old tan file folder, around your monitor to see if your eyes feel better. If so, you may need to adjust your screen brightness to balance with the overall room illumination. So in summary, remember that your space should fit you and not the other way around. Don't forget to keep moving, don't put up with a poor setup, and seek help if you need it. Thanks for watching. My name is Mike. Do you have questions? Leave them in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe. Cue the royalty-free music.